Oh, okay.
So,
Go ahead.
welcome everybody. I want to take this opportunity to welcome everybody to this accounting and finance virtual open house. And to start off this event, we have faculty and we have participants attending this event. So I'm going to let the Dean Mo, the Dean of the School of Business and Public Administration at the University of the District of Columbia, uh, give us his opening welcome. Dean?
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Tan, and thank you everybody for making the time and being here. I will not take too much time of this session, and I will leave actually. Just wanted to welcome everybody who is here, faculty, staff, and of course potential students who have interest in our programs. All I wanted to say is that. Everybody knows how education is important, and especially during the COVID pandemic we have had, it has been proven that people with education and higher degrees, they had less trouble, cruising along than people who didn't have one. So definitely that's something that we know. Now, in general, everybody knows education is good for you. But then comes to specifics that what kind of education, what level, and what areas. And of course, you always hear that whatever you like to do or what is good for you and all those things. I can speak obviously for business programs we have, and in this case today about accounting and finance. Accounting and finance are one of the most popular programs that you can find anywhere. And the graduates are very much in demand, and the pay scale is normally much higher than other areas and other, majors that, you may have. It's very satisfying, area to be in. And normally after graduations, you won't have much difficulty, to find, a place to work. By coincidence, it was Monday. I came across actually, a research, and I was listening to somebody, and then I thought I better go check it myself. There is a study by Harvard University actually. It's part of the bigger study about people who are happier professionals, who are there and all the things you hear from time to time in the lighter news. Well, some professions like firemen are very happy and all those things. That's fine, but professions that you go to school for and maybe and be prepared. Those with a degree in business administration are among the top 5 happiest, among all professions. And guess what? Accounting and finance were among the highest. They're the highest. They're the most happiest. Now, it doesn't mean that it's always comedy, fun, and not happy in that way. It's satisfaction that comes with it, because when as a professional, as accountant and a finance person, or even management leader, you end up at places that you can do things, you can lead. Financially, you're secured, and that's what comfort comes. Because if every night you go to bed worrying about your job, your level, and income, that's worrisome. But in degrees like this, you are much more secure. That's why then you see your contribution, you see what you are doing, and you're respected. That's why people are happy with this degree. So success comes with it. The best investment you make is just in your education. It is not that much really of investment, but return is definitely 10 times, maybe 100 times more. So Dr. Tan and the team, will lead you in specifics, what the degree entails and, how you do it and, what you do it. But definitely this is the right track for everyone who wants, to learn about accounting and finance, and to go through that. And I live and, hopefully you will have a successful time, and whatever answer or you have to your question will be provided. Have a good day and good afternoon.
Thank you, Dimo. Appreciate your comments and welcome. So let me share my screen and share my PowerPoints and see everybody can see. So I want to take this opportunity once again to welcome everybody for taking time off this this afternoon for attending this open house. I have listed the contact information, my email address, Dr. Betts, Dr. Gwen's, and Ms. September Smith's email address. Feel free to shoot us an email if you have any questions with regards to accounting and finance or anything about the programs. So this is the agenda that we're going to go over today. We'll start out with why UDC and why accounting and finance. I'll touch on a little bit about the programs that we have. I'll go over the scholarship and internship opportunity, and then I'll leave it to Dr. Abed to talk about the accounting side, and then Dr. Nguyen to talk about the finance side. And then we'll have a current student, accounting and finance student actually, that she will share her experiences as a student over here at UDC. And then we're happy to have Mr. Derek Fuzzle, the Chief Financial and Strategy Officer of PAHO WHO Federal Credit Union, to share his perspectives from the professional side. And then we'll finally have a Q&A session. So before we start, I'll just want to say, if you have any questions, appreciate it if you could type it into the chat area so that then we can respond to your questions during the Q&A session. Thank you. So why UDC? The School of Business and Public Administration is currently accredited by ACBSP, and we're currently in pursuit of AACSB accreditation. Being accredited means that the school has to meet rigorous standards in our curriculum, in our faculty, in our standards that we need to meet, so that that sort of gives us like a seal of approval from the accrediting body. We also have qualified faculty. More than 90% of our faculty are equipped with terminal degrees. For those who don't have a terminal degree, they are typically professionally qualified, for example, with a CPA. We also have a low faculty to student ratio, currently at approximately 11:1. That means that our class size are fairly small. In a small class size, that means your distance, so to speak, with your faculty, with the faculty closer. That means you're more engaged, you get more closeness, you get more interaction with the faculty. That will enhance your learning experience, in my opinion. Affordability. Allow me to elaborate more in the next slide. So if you can see on there is that over here, if you are in DC, if you are a DC resident, you are classified as a DC, you pay tuition at UDC as a DC resident, currently annually at $8,636. And if you are a DC Metro, if you're in Virginia or Maryland, then you are classified as DC Metro, then you pay $9,836. So when we compare, if you're in Maryland, for example, looking at the two Maryland schools, UMBC and UMCP, you will be paying between $10,000 to $11,000 to $12,000 to attend those schools. Whereas if you attend our school, you will be paying about $1,000 to $2,000 less per year. And if you're on the Maryland, if you're on the Virginia side, then you'll be paying between, obviously, if you are going to George Mason, then you're obviously a little better off. You know, if you're classified as an in-state for Virginia, then you'll be paying $95.10. That's a little cheaper than what you're going to pay at our school, $98.36. Now, if you're thinking about going to Virginia Commonwealth, you'll be paying $14,710. That's about $5,000 more to attend Virginia Commonwealth than to attend UDC. Now, if you are an international student, in the DMV area or anywhere, you are going to be paying $17,000. It's a no-brainer. Regardless of which school you're thinking of going, you'll be paying between $27,000 to $36,000. Whereas if you choose to come to UDC, you're only paying $17,180 per year in tuition. So why accounting and finance? I'm going to touch on a little bit about on this, and Dr. Nguyen and Dr. Abed will talk a little more about the why accounting and finance as well. So the field is always in demand. Okay, studies have shown that the job growth in this area is going to be averaging about 10% per year. And in accounting and finance does not mean that being in accounting and finance does not mean that you're going to actually be working in the accounting industry or finance industry. It doesn't have to be that. You can be working in a variety of industry. For example, you could be working as an accountant in a manufacturing firm, for example, or you could be working as a financial analyst for a retail company. It doesn't mean that you have to be the accounting finance industry. Your function is in accounting and finance, but you could be working in different industries. There are also leadership opportunities. As you progress through the corporate ladder, you could ultimately become the controller as you progress up, or the CFO, or even sometimes the CEO of a firm. Some of our graduate placements, quite a number of our graduates actually progress through and then go on to get placement at a big four accounting firm, KPMG, EY, Deloitte. Some of them go continue to work with the DC government, and quite a number of them actually went to grad school. Specifically, I know one alumnus that went to Cornell. A number of them went to American, and some went to George Washington. So the programs that we have in our department is the BBA in accounting and the finance program. If you look at the two programs, not to look into the details, so we have common programs, common courses where it's general education requirements as well as the business core. So that's common across the board. The difference lie in the major requirements. For accounting, there's 36 credits. For finance, there's 33 credits. So the difference is there. So to graduate with an accounting degree, you need 124 credits. To graduate with a finance degree, you need to earn 121 credits. There's also another option is to double major in accounting and finance. In that case, you would take between 5 to 8 courses, depending on the courses you have already taken. One of our program highlights is the experiential learning experience. So there's going to be the VITA program, the volunteer in tax assistance. There's going to be internships. There are going to be field trips that we visit Federal Reserve, Chicago. Plans are underway that we're going to visit New York, if obviously when the pandemic ends, hopefully. There are also simulations that's going to be in the classrooms as well. So this slide basically is from the previous slide where you see the major requirements. Notice that it's 36 credits for accounting, 33 credits for finance. So 12 courses in the accounting side, and then 11 courses in the finance side, okay? I want to talk a little bit about the scholarship opportunity and the internship opportunities as well. We recently have are very happy about this collaboration where Structured Finance Association actually committed to support scholarship for our students. They're going to commit $10,000 per student. They're going to commit 2 awards, which will be awarded in the fall of 2021. So, and then they're also committed that they're going to recruit 2 of our interns during summer of 2021 as well. In addition to the scholarship by Structured Finance Association, the School of Business and Public Administration also have some other scholarships of various amounts, different amounts, and multiple awards. More information for this particular scholarships will be available on the university actually on the School of Business and Public Administration website. We also have deals with DC Department of Insurance, Securities and Banking, as well as the DC Superior Court Office of the Auditor Master for internship opportunities as well. We have a few of our students have already done their internship with the Auditor Master. We're going to start with have students go to the Department of Insurance and Securities and Banking for internship opportunities as well. So I'm gonna lead off to Dr. Susan Abad for her accounting presentation. Suzanne?
Thank you, Alex. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm going to present the part related to the professional certification and why the professional is very important for the business student and specifically for accounting and finance. So professional certificates earn a vast recognition than academic degree in the practical field in general. Because of that, the credibility of the professional certificate is very high. And I can say that in all of the professional certificates, practical experience is compulsory requirement. So there's too many benefits of the professional certificate, and today I'm going to concentrate on the most beneficial of the professional certificate. I'm going to start by the prestige, respect, and confidence of the holder of this certificate, because basically they have superior knowledge in accounting and finance based on their practical and theoretical background. And this actually opened for them more job opportunities. And for sure, they're going to get higher payment and higher benefits at the same time. And because most of the holder of the professional certificate, actually they are required to get continual education, that's helped them so much in their career advancement and promotion. Next. So the need of a professional certificate, I can say that now in these days, professional certificate is not actually something that may you do it. It's actually something must. You have to do it. So it's not a preferred option. It's actually must. You have to go through the professional certificate. Why? Because basically most of the recruiter and business require from job seeker to have a professional certificate. So because of that, guys, we have to plan for our future from now. So I can say that science is a progressing and not getting more knowledge. That means it holds you back. In our presentation for today, we're going to concentrate on two kinds of certification. We're going to concentrate on the CPA and CMA. So CPA, it is Certified Public Accountant, are licensed by their individual state board of accountancy after passing uniform CPA exam administered by American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. Whereas the Certified Management Accountant, it has actually kind of significant expertise not only on financial accounting, but also in strategic management and in decision-making skills. And it's granted by Institute of Management Accountant, the IMA. So based on this, actually something that comes to your mind, what's the difference between the CPA and CMA? I can say that the person who gets the CPA license typically work as public accountant and generally in tax and audit, while the person who got the CMA certification work as management accountant, and for sure he can work in a wide range of other fields. Now I'm going to present the main difference about the examination process. I can say that the key difference between CPA and CMA related to the process of accounting and the process to be licensed. For the CPA, the exam consists of 4 parts with totaling of 16 hours of testing, whereas the CMA parts with totaling of 8 hours of testing. The pass rate in general for the CPA, I can say it's almost 50%, whereas for the CMA, it's almost equal to 45%. The registration fees for the CPA exam, just for the registration, it's equal to $1,500 US dollar, whereas for the CMA, it's equal to $1,300 without any course review. And as I mentioned, because actually you need to be a license all the time, that means you need to subject for annual continuing education. Under the CPA, you need to sit for 40 hours as minimum, and under the CMA, you need like 30 hours yearly. The practical experience is already something compulsory for all the certification, and under the CPA, you require like 2 years under licensed CPA, and we have like less restriction in the CMA. You need like 2 years of financial management or cost accounting experience. Now, what's the career of CPA and CMA? As I mentioned, actually, I can say that the holder of the CPA, they have the black felt. They can fit in everywhere. But mainly, I can say that they work in consulting firm, regardless regional or local. They can work as accountant, as financial advisor, and mainly there is common job opportunities for the CPA as public accountant, internal auditor, or even management accountant. Whereas for the CMA certification, it has more international scope, and it's prepare you to work in large corporation with more complex operation, both domestically or abroad. And the common job for the CMA holders are cost accountant, financial risk manager, consultation, and executives. So something just mention it at the end. So regardless actually of what kind of certification you want to set, I can say that determining which certificate to start with depends on your career path, objectives, and goals. So guys, unlock your door to opportunities and try from now to plan for your future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Abed. So let's move on to Dr. Nguyen for his presentation on the finance side.
Thank you very much, Alex, and good afternoon, everybody. So my presentation is about finance, and I want to convince you that you should study finance. The first slide, the most important message is that what is finance and why should you do it? Well, when I ask my student, what is finance? Several things pop to their mind, but the most common thing they say is that money, money, money. How to use money to make more money. And then some will say the stock market. Some will say banking. Some will say financial reporting, a lot of calculation. But then we're going to go back to money. So if you study finance, you will know about money. You will be able to look at financial report statement and understand them. You will understand the stock market. You will have some concept about investing, borrowing, basically how to use money to make more money. So that in general, the overall theme of finance. It depends on where you go, you will learn more detailed aspect, more technical aspect, obviously. So the next question is, why should I study finance? Why should you study finance? Well, Dean Mo mentioned a little bit about that, and Alex touched a little bit about this as well. When you study finance, you're gonna have many interesting career paths. You can work as a financial analyst, you can work as a financial examiner, you can work as an actuary, you can work as a manager, and you don't have to work in one area. You can actually rotate into the risk area, you can rotate into the marketing area once you know about finance. It is flexible because all those areas, guess what? They still need to know finance in order to advance. And like Alex mentioned, in finance, there's a high demand for job. There has been a growing job opportunity. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, they document that finance field, career in general, have higher than average career path. And finally, when you work in a finance career, you can bet that you will get competitive salary. And I will show you the number, but in general, you will get higher number than non-finance business major. Okay, so the next area. When you are in finance, then there are several areas, but here are the 6 dominant primary areas of employment for finance major. If you really want to know about the stock market, you will fit right in with investment banking or equity research. If you want to learn about financial reporting, learn more about banking, then commercial banking. corporate finance, those will definitely offer you the opportunity to learn more about financial statement, about banking, about investment, about budgeting, about helping making loans or making investing in asset in general. If you're conservative, you want to you worry about risk, then that's the risk management aspect as well, or you can do the asset management aspects as well. So we have many area that will allow you to work in. But like Alex says, you don't have to pigeonhole yourself in the financial firm. Every company has almost every company has a financial department. That means you basically can work in any company. Okay. So just to give you an overview of what you would do as a financial analyst, or basically if you work in finance, and what kind of skill you need. When you first start out working as a financial analyst, you're gonna be start off in the top left quadrant. You're gonna gather data and generate report. You will learn that very well, and then you're gonna build your skill set to the other circle, the other area. You will need to organize your information, analyze your result, make forecasts, or make recommendation. Alternatively, as you develop in your financial career, you will need to make presentation, you will need to build more model, and then you have to make a decision or recommendation, because the ultimate goal is that as a manager, you have to make investment decision that increase the value of the firm or increase the value of the business. Regarding the different area, the skill set that you need to be a competent financial analyst or to excel in your job, analytic, that is a must. There isn't any substitute to know Excel, to know math really well, to know about some coding, to know visual basis, to learn a little bit about SQL. So analytic is going to be very important. That's going to be the core. But that's not the only skill you have to be good at. You also need the soft skill as well as the presentation skill. You need to work across the department, reach out to other people. And when you move up to be a manager, you will have to convince people to follow you. So presentation is going to be important as well. Be sure to have an open mind when you work as a financial analyst or work in finance. Don't pigeonhole to be a technical person only. All right, the job prospect, I mentioned to you that we have finance have above average job prospect. Well, I gather 8 different career, 4 in finance and 4 non-finance for you to see. And the data come from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS. The 4 left career that we have is lodging hotel manager. This graph, the first graph on the left, show you that it has negative growth rate from 2019 to 2029. And this forecast was made before the pandemic, the COVID. So with the pandemic, you can bet that it's going to be even down further. Accounting and auditor, that is promising. It shows above average growth rate compared to the other, but budgeting analyst and logistician, that is about just roughly the average growth rate in the US. And then you have the 4 career, which are finance related on the right. Here you have financial examiner, financial analyst, personal financial advisor, and financial manager. You can see the bar are really high, higher than the one on the left. This is to illustrate that the finance degree is in high demand. So in the future, in the next 10 years, you probably will be able to enjoy more job prospect if you graduate with a finance degree. And in terms of the raw job number, you can see it over here as well. Finance in general, they are higher. Accounting, even though they have a really an average growth rate, the number is really high because there are many jobs for accounting. So just an average growth rate does still mean there are many jobs available as well. But in general, as a finance major, you can bet that there will be a lot of opportunity for you in the future. Okay, and then I want to tell you about who actually, the number of employer in finance. And I want to tell you in the US as well as the DMV area. So on the left-hand side, it shows you the number of employer in the US by major, while the right-hand side, it shows you the number of employer in the DMV specific. You can see that the highest bar column is finance, both in the US and in the DMV area. So we can expect to see that there are many employ finance major. And it is almost double accounting, probably triple the marketing or the logistic chain major. So the key takeaway is that finance is in almost every company. They will hire you if you have a finance degree. And if you want to know who they are, go to BuzzFeed.com. They will list the employer for you. And finally, I want to bring to your attention about the salary. I said that the salary will be competitive. Well, we have I grouped the four degree together, the non-finance major, then I grouped the four finance major together. The orange is the non-finance major, while the red is the finance major. We have the data for 2017, 2018, and 2019. We can see that in each year, on average, finance major salary are around 35% to 40% higher than non-finance major. And we're talking about the median salary. So these are the career people. This is how much the average you're gonna make over your lifetime. And this gap is quite big. It will add up to a significant value. That means if you major in finance, you probably will be better off. You most likely, I will almost say definitely will be better off than non-finance business major. Okay, and that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Wan. So we're gonna now have Teresa Casahun. She'll share her experience as a student here at UDC. Go ahead, Teresa.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tan. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Teresa Casahun. I'm a senior, a double major accounting and finance with logistics and international trade or LET and LRA concentration. Also, I am LET ambassador for School of Business and Public Administration. A little bit about myself. I graduated from DC Public High School in June 2017. Then I started my college life at the University of the District of Columbia Community College in the fall of 2017. Then I transferred to the main campus in the fall of 2019. And here I am in my last semester at UDC. My experience as a student has been good. The professors are here to guide you, help you, and inspire you. Most importantly, the professors know you by your name, and they are here for you to help you. You will not have only just book knowledge, however, you will be able to apply what you have learned in real life to real life scenarios. The class sizes are also very small, and you get to know your classmates. You will have a chance to meet different people from different backgrounds from all over the world, and not just only the DMV area, but from all over the world. Overall, UDC is a very multicultural university. As Dr. Tar mentioned earlier about the DC Supreme Court Office of the Auditor Master, I had a chance to work there as an intern for 6 months. I was reviewing and analyzing data to ensure the integrity of the account of fraudulent, and I was able to detect some possible fraudulent or misappropriation of use of the area of investigation. I used most of the time Excel to allow some account to be what account of determine the expenditure of the allowance or the disallowance of the account where I was reviewing, and also collecting and analyzing or summarizing evidence to support the account conclusion was fraudulent or was not fraudulent. The other experience I had is for UDC Viral Tax Clinic. To volunteer there, first you have to take the federal income tax class. Once you take the federal income tax, you will take the accounting particulum class. That class is dedicated for you to help you to understand what it feels like to do income tax returns. We use a TaxWise software. That software, we conduct also brief interviews with our clients, and we prepare income tax returns for middle and lower income families. So you will have hands-on experience what it looks like to do income tax returns. For the Logistic and International Trade Analytics Center of Excellency was funded by the National Science Foundation or NSF. It's STEM business concentration. as a lead ambassador, I get to work with different students. So in the lead center, actually, we do researches. Our research is focused on logistic and supply chain, social media technology and management, international trade and business, artificial intelligence, robot. If you are really interested in doing researches, we have a research day on December every year on December, so you can present your research and compete with other students. So other opportunities we will have at the Lead Center, we will have study abroad program in UK and industrial visit and a lot of networking opportunities. So overall, UDC is a great place. Come, we welcome you.
Thank you, Tirsa, for your perspective and experience. So next, we're going to have the industry professional, Derek Fuzzle, to share his perspective. Go ahead, Derek.
Thank you, Dr. Tan. I do appreciate it. So my name is Derek Fuzzle, and I serve as the Chief Financial and Strategy Officer for PAHO WHO Federal Credit Union, located here in Washington, D.C. I want to start by talking to you a little bit about what Dr. Abed was talking to us about, certifications. So my background, I actually have a degree in finance and economics from the University of Houston. And I needed, quite frankly, for my career to go and get the CPA. And I ultimately also got the CMA certification, the Certified Public Accountant and Certified Management Accountant certifications. I found as I was navigating in the finance world, and that's in commercial banking, actually in credit unions, which are a type of bank, as I was navigating through the credit union industry, I really needed to leverage more and more accounting knowledge. It wasn't just the finance knowledge of how to make a good investment or how to really buy or purchase the best investments to really manage the financial operations. I also led in my career, I've led a financial planning and analysis department, which is kind of the hybrid mix of the best of both worlds of finance and accounting, where you're both looking backwards to say, well, what happened in this organization and what can we learn from that? But you're also then looking forward in an organization to say, how can we do things better going forward? And what are the right investment decisions, both from in terms of investment options, as well as even staffing, branch location, and so forth. There have been a lot of opportunities in my career. I have worked in public accounting, and I'll say that I enjoyed my time in public accounting. I worked for a small public accounting firm in Houston, Texas, but I ultimately found my love for both finance and accounting, actually working in the credit union movement. In my time in the credit union movement, I came in as a senior financial analyst and have worked my way up to the chief financial officer role, which I serve in today. Kind of to the point of Dr. Nguyen's viewpoint on finance, one of my areas that I oversee now in my operations, I actually oversee a lending department, which is a traditional finance function. Usually financiers are the ones who manage lending functions. So I'm kind of getting back into that finance role here, at this point in my career. What I also want to talk to you about, though, is a little bit more on this idea of getting involved in your profession. Whether you choose to go the finance route or the accounting route, one of the biggest things that you can do for your career is to get involved. And I really do believe this starts at college. This starts at UDC. And part of that is getting involved in organizations that have an accounting interest or a finance interest, for that matter. There could be a lot of different organizations, Beta Alpha Psi may be on your campus, or others, the National Association of Black Accountants, the IMA, potentially the Institute of Management Accountants, that may have a local chapter. And I definitely encourage you to start getting involved in building your network there. I found in my career that aspect of networking and really gaining mentors has helped me to navigate my career. And whenever I have questions, I always have people that I can turn to and say, hey, have you experienced this before? And I think that's definitely something you should take away. I myself have gotten so involved with the Institute of Management Accountants, who offers the CMA certification, that I actually currently serve on the board of directors for the Institute of Management Accountants at the global level. So we have 145,000 members in 185 different countries. And so I get to steer and drive the strategy for IMA going forward from that board seat. But I also serve here at the local chapter level. I'm the past president of the nation's capital chapter and the president-elect of the Potomac and Chesapeake Council, which oversees Virginia, Maryland, and DC. I can tell you that with giving back in your profession, you're only going to get that much more out of it. And again, you get to build that network of professionals that you can turn to and talk to, that ask questions about. You're not expected when you graduate college to know everything there is to know about finance and accounting. And I will tell you that each industry is very different. If you're working in banking, for instance, we often say that banking is on the opposite side of the brain, because a lot of what you're learning in accounting, potentially learning in accounting or finance classes, from an accounting standpoint, they're really talking to you about everybody else, what everyone else is doing. So when you talk about loans, for instance, loans for most people are liabilities. But for a financial institution, unless we're borrowing money, which there is a dynamic of that, most of our loans are actually assets for us. And so we are on the opposite side of the balance sheet. You're not expected to know that coming directly out of college. You're not expected to know everything there is to know about the nuances of it. But what I can tell you is that your education at UDC will give you a solid foundation to step into any organization, whether that be my credit union or any credit union in the country, as well as any investment bank, any public accounting firm that may be out there, or quite frankly, any industry that there is. So thank you, Dr. Tan. I appreciate the time, and I'd love to take questions if there are any.
Thank you, Derek. Appreciate that. Thanks for sharing your perspective. So let's see the next one. I also want to bring to your attention, if you or your friends or anyone you know have any interest on the business management side, the business management department is going to have their open house next week, Thursday, a week from today. It's from 6 to 7:30, and you need to register, and the link is right there. If you want more information about the management virtual open house, feel free to shoot me an email, and I'll be able to send you this flyer, and you can then register for that. So that ends our official presentation. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and then we'll take questions from you guys. So far, anything from the chat about question? Okay, there are none. Okay, so since we don't have any questions from the chat, any questions from you guys in the audience? If you want to ask a question, show me your camera so I know it's you, and then I'll call your name, and then you unmute yourself. Any questions? None? Okay. Okay, that's not what I expected. Okay, how about this?
I have one question.
Sure, go ahead.
This is Bria. I was wondering, are there any courses or any classes that do like prep for like the FINRA exams, or any certifications like CFA or anything like that?
With respect to FINRA, we don't. The other one is, did you say CFA? Did you say CFA for the CFA exam?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Currently, we don't. I think the closest that we have is actually the CPA prep. I think one of our faculty members, I think she's here with us, Professor Chen. She's actually working with the accounting student club on having to do CPA prep. I believe that's going to be starting in the fall. That's the closest that I think we have. We currently do not offer any sort of prep for the FINRA as well as the CFA exams.
Can I add in something, Alex?
Of course.
Okay. Bria, regarding your question, while we don't have the prep course, I know that I look at the CFA curriculum, and for the first exam, our core course and elective course, they cover up like 90% of the topic that is going to be covered on the first exam for the CFA. Therefore, if you have a finance degree from UDC, you're in a very solid position to learn a little bit more, maybe 10, 20% more material, and sit for that exam, okay? And in general, they don't expect you to take the exam while you're while you're at the university anyway. You usually will need experience to take that exam, and your company should be paying you for that. But we will equip you with the foundation so that you can learn a little bit more and then be ready to sit for that exam.
Derek, do you wanna piggyback or comment?
Yeah, I do. I was just going to add there that on the CFA, I've got several friends and some former employees of mine who at my last organization who were CFAs. And absolutely, any finance curriculum, and I'm sure Dr. Nguyen is absolutely correct, you're covering at least 90% of that first exam and probably 60% of exam 2 and exam 3 just in normal finance curricula. So you will be well prepared for that coming out of college at UDC. What I would also want to add there as well is, if you're looking at a finance curriculum, the finance curriculum is also going to piggyback a lot on your accounting curriculum. There truly is a concise overlap, and a lot of that also would prep you for that CFA exam if that's what you're looking to do. About 30% of exam 2 for the CFA is mostly accounting, and so you can see really how a double major at UDC really would prep you to go pretty far in a CFA world.
Thanks, Eric. Any other comments? Any other questions from the audience? Just going to say, I just received sort of approval last night that if you are the participant in this open house and if you apply for admission to UDC, we are waiving the application fee. So if you're interested in applying, shoot me an email, let me know that you attended the open house, and then I'll send you the application form. You send me back the application form by tomorrow, and your application fee will be waived. Now, the other thing I want to talk about also is that if you're unsure about whether either are you a high school student or you're at a community college right now and you're interested, and you don't know what kind of courses and what kind of things can be done, feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to talk to you one-on-one and go through your course or your transcript at your current institution, and then we can work it out and how long or how many more semesters you have left before you can actually graduate for your degree. I'll be happy to talk to you about that if you want to contact me on that. Okay. Any other questions that you guys have? Last minute question. Okay. So if there, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't mean to
No,
ask
go
too
ahead.
much.
No, go ahead.
So I'm currently studying business management, and I'm graduating in December. So I'm wondering, can I start the finance degree next semester, or do I have to wait until I graduate completely to start over?
You don't. That's up to you. In other words, do you want a degree in hand, or does it matter you have your degree in hand first to do something? I don't know. It's not mandatory. So you can say right now, you can do the paperwork to add a finance major into your program. You could. It doesn't really matter. It's your choice, actually. It doesn't matter if that makes sense. It doesn't matter. You can do it after you graduated. If you do it after you graduated, you will be considered a second, what's that called? A second bachelor's degree seeker. That's all it is. The only difference. There's no, in terms of tuition, there isn't any restriction on our side. Does that make sense? But again, the earlier you start, the earlier we can plan. And while you're doing your management program, we can then see how to take those courses together so that you can have a smooth transition and hopefully graduate on time. The earlier you start, the more flexibility you have in your curriculum. We can definitely look at that. I mean, I know that you are lit, your business management. I understand. I know that. So we can work on that. I'll be happy to meet with you one-on-one to look at your records, and then we can go from there. And I could probably give you like an approximation about how many more semesters you need. Or for finance, should be, I want to say, probably 6 to 8 courses approximately. I want to say, so about a semester plus a summer, you'll be done additionally. But I'll have to look at it because I know you're taking lit. So some of the lit courses can count toward your finance program as well. So it's we'll have to look into the details. Does that make sense, Ria?
Perfect. I'll send you an email shortly too.
Sure. Okay, I actually see a question. How can I apply for the scholarship? So which scholarship are you talking about? Are you talking about the structured finance one that I mentioned, or is that the School of Business and Public Administration one? So I'll answer to both, I guess. For the School of Business and Public Administration one, it's going to be open sometime in May. And it will run through till June 15th, I believe. Structured Finance Association one, we're currently working on the details. The application should be open very soon. I want to say sometime in early March, sometime around spring break time. And then you have up until April 15th to apply. If you're interested in the structured finance one, feel free to contact me and I will let you know when the application is open. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, okay. So the structured finance one. Yeah, the structured finance one is the one that I talked about. So you apply probably sometime in March. The application, I will provide the application. So shoot me an email to get in touch with me, and then I'll be able to provide more information. But the deadline, I believe, is going to be April 15th, but it's not open yet. We're working on the details right now. Any other questions? Yeah, Botal?
I'm now prepare the CPA review clinic, the workshop. So I think our students interested in the take the CPA CMA experience. So Derek, so we cherish this opportunity. Could you share with us your experience to take your CPA and the CMA experience?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So again, I graduated with a finance and economics degree from the University of Houston, so I didn't have all of my accounting coursework that I needed. I actually went back to Northern Virginia Community College after relocating from Houston up here and completed some of those additional courses that I needed so that I could sit. I'll say that the courses did probably about 60% of the work of preparing me for the exam itself. But I did study. I used Gleim for my CPA prep, and that really helped me to get ready for the CPA exam. I was able to walk into all exams and pass it on the first time. Now, I will say that it did take about 60 hours of study for each exam. The benefit to taking any kind of exam early, and by early I mean shortly after you complete your coursework, is that all of that knowledge is still fresh with you. I can't tell you enough how important that is, because I have friends who are in their 40s and 50s who are trying to sit the CMA or the CPA exam, and they're struggling to get back in the habit and say, well, what does this say? I'll also say, especially banking friends of mine, again, we talked about banking is on the other side of the balance sheet, it thinks on the other side. It's really difficult to then go back and take a test that is not in the banking mindset once you're in the banking mindset. So I can't express enough how important it is for you to go and take these tests as quickly as possible following your graduation, or as soon as you're eligible. On the CMA side, I'll say that the CMA exam is a little bit tougher than the CPA exam. However, the material is relevant. What you're studying on the CPA is going to help you on the CMA exam, and vice versa. If you take the CMA first, which, by the way, you're eligible to do, you do not have to complete your degree before you start sitting the CMA exam. And a lot of students are actually starting to take the CMA exam their senior year so that it's out of the way, and all they have to do is get their work experience requirements so that they can gain their credential. So that is something that you can definitely do as well. For me, it took about 100 hours per exam to prepare for the CMA exam. There were topics that, again, I'm a financier. I'm not really an accountant, we'll say. I don't practice accounting on a daily basis. but there were a lot of topics that I had to go back and brush up on. And so that took me a little bit more time. Again, with the CMA exam, thanks to prepping, and I prepped with Wiley for the CMA exam, I was able to go in and knock it out really quickly. I will say on the CPA exam, there are often scholarship opportunities that are provided by different employers so that they'll cover your costs to take the CPA exam if you're interested. With the CMA exam, what every university in America is offered from the Institute of Management Accountants is up to 10 scholarships for their students every single year. So if you're interested in taking the CMA exam, you can actually go to Dr. Tan or any of your professors, and they can write a recommendation letter for you and send it to IMA, and IMA will grant you that scholarship to cover all of your exam fees. Now, if you take any prep course beyond that would be out of your pocket. But I do believe, once you are finishing your UDC degree, you're going to have about 80% of the knowledge that you need to really go and pass that CMA exam. So that's definitely something I would encourage you to do.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yes.
Thanks, Derek. Appreciate that. Really insightful. Really insightful. So,
Okay.
any other questions? Any one of you guys? Teresa, you had a question?
Yeah, I have one question for Mr. Derek.
Sure, go ahead.
What was your study thing for? I'm planning to take my CPA after I graduate. And what was your study plan when you studied for your CPA? And which things I can do, to pass in my first trial?
So what I did personally, I am not a tax expert. I actually work in an industry that we don't pay federal income tax. And so reg was the hardest exam for me. And I focused on it first because I had the time. I knew that, I was trying to pass my CPA in under a year entirely. And so I prioritized reg so that I could knock it out first. So for you, that might be very different. You might have a lot of experience with reg. You had talked about your tax involvement while at UDC. So reg may be right up your alley already. But you may say, well, I'm not really good at auditing, or I'm not really good at BEC, business environment and concepts. And so you might want to prioritize whatever you think it is going to be your weakest area so that you can really focus on it and get it out of the way. I would say after that, I took reg, and then I took FAR, financial accounting and reporting, because again, I'm not really an accountant. I am, but I don't practice in that space. I don't do journal entries all day. I don't do reconciliations. So, walking through FAR was a little bit more difficult for me. As far as auditing was concerned, I've done auditing in my career. And so I felt, I'm going to be fine. I can do auditing. I understand general accepted auditing standards. And so I pretty much knew that I could pass that exam without much studying. I'll still say I studied about 60 hours comparatively, which is light compared to what I had to study for reg and for FAR, which was about 100 hours each. For BEC, I was also studying for the CMA exam at that exact same time. And so much of BEC and the CMA exam are directly comparable that I was like, okay, I'm good. Like I went through the review course on BEC, and I'll say it took me about 40 hours because so much of it I had seen on my CMA exam prep. My advice to you on studying, though, is you need to schedule it. You need to block out time in your schedule and say, I'm going to go study. Right now you're in college and you have the benefit of, I have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, or I have a Tuesday, Thursday class, or I have a Monday night class. And so you get these big blocks of time that you're focusing on this topic. You're also used to right now taking time to study in the evening, do your reading, or maybe on the weekends, depending on what your schedule allows. You have to keep that same mindset when preparing for these exams. And same goes for the CFA exam or Series 6 or Series 63, any of the FINRA exams that are out there. You really need to take the time and make sure you've blocked it off in your schedule. That may mean you're not able to be as social, which right now, given the COVID thing, that's not a problem. I would highly recommend taking advantage of this particular moment in history to knock out as much studying as you can. But even if it's a few years off and hopefully we're past this virus and everything by that point, even then, block that time out in your schedule. It's important to do so because otherwise you're just going to get interrupted. Life happens. And I realize that life happens. I'm actually walking through my accounting supervisor right now on the CPA exam. And he's in his mid-30s, but he has a little kid at home. And it is troublesome because every time he sits down to study, he has this wonderful 2-year-old who just wants love and attention, which is great. However, it disrupts his exam prep. So the sooner you can knock this out, the better. And if you can go in a distraction-free environment, even better.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Very, very, very insightful, Derek. Thank you. Thanks for sharing your experience on that, on the prep side. Very interesting. Any other questions or comments about anything? Accounting, finance, programs, transfers? Okay. So I'm not going to keep you guys till 4 o'clock, obviously. So I want to take this opportunity. Thank you everybody for taking time off, 1 hour off your time this afternoon to attend this open house. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me or any of our faculty members. We're here to help, even if you don't apply or if you haven't decided to apply. We're here to help you make your decision, okay? We can try to help. Okay, if there's no other questions, appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop the recording.